Welcome to Defective Max's Tierlist Tierlist, where we're going to make a tier list out of our tier list ideas to figure out which tier lists are tier lists that should be done and in what order they should be having been done. We're going to make a tier list out of our tier lists to find out what tier lists to do. I've got a few different categories. We got triple S, which means that I should just drop everything and do it immediately. A, for awesome idea. B is okay, but it's probably too much work. I don't want to get the things to do it. I don't want to figure out all the stuff about it, so it probably should not be done. C is brain rot. Myself and everybody involved will actively be stupider for doing the tier list. And F is it's an awful idea and you should never do it. So let's hop into it. I also made a little slideshow for us, and it is bad. Here's my tier list concept. Because some of these don't quite translate in a single thumbnail as to what I mean by them. So I have like a little slide to explain everything. The first tier list for the tier list, a tier list of tier lists, is the Tierlist Tierlist. A tier list ranking tier lists. It is what we're doing right now. I think that this is a fantastic idea and that I should be doing it right now, which I am. So this is going to be our first triple S tier. We're doing it right now because it's an amazing idea. I think that more people should utilize the tier list, figure out which tier list they want to do, because it's a tier list, it narrow down your tier list options. I think it's a no-brainer. People will come in here, they get all their tier list ideas and tier list them and figure it out. Next slide is the Big Bird tier list. This is the one that I've been thinking about for a long time. And it's because I found out that all of the different countries that have a Sesame Street have their own Big Bird. And some of them have different iterations of that Big Bird. And they're all like related, but sometimes they're the same thing. They're just, like supposed to actually be Big Bird. And it's confusing. But I want to rank the Big Birds in perfect, knockoff, cursed, and nightmare. And there's Brazilian Big Bird that we'll look at when I get it, if I do it, that will definitely rack people's brains a little bit. China Big Bird is identical to our Big Bird, so it's hard to tell. I don't know, this is weird. There's so many different Big Birds, and then the older versions of some of the Big Birds that look fine are also terrifying. So, I think there's a lot of interesting little swings and learning that we could do from that. So Big Bird tier list, I think, is an awesome idea. I don't think it'll be like much more difficult to put on than this one has been. I just need to find a little bit of information and images of the various Big Birds. Next tier list is the candy/food tier list. I'm including like the fast food tier list that we looked at earlier. The candy tier list that I showed you on YouTube. There's people who do fruit tier lists. Ludwig did a tier list of like all the different types of apples in the grocery store. And this is an awful idea, and I will never do it. Everybody's already done it. There's nothing interesting that I can add to this. It's going to cost me money to get it. It's going to upset my stomach. It's too overdone. We can watch a candy tier list together and it'll be way more entertaining than my candy tier list. It's just not going to happen. The next tier list is the fear list. It's a tier list of fears. My ranking of common and uncommon fears. Creeper, a psychologist has never been able to motivate me before, and this one isn't going to happen now. The tier list fear list, especially if I can get somebody's help compiling fears, I do think that this is an A tier idea. I think that there's probably some off the wall fears and some uncommon ones that we can explore and learn together. And really take a deep dive and see what bothers me. So yeah, fear list, tier list, A rank tier list. The next one is a little bit more complicated. It's the morality of YouTubers, where not just ranking them by quality of person, I would dive into various YouTubers and rank them on a scale of how evil or good they are as a person. This could be kind of fun, but I'm gonna give it B tier because it'd be way too much work. I think that finding enough YouTubers to make it interesting and well-rounded would be one thing, but then like figuring out like what makes Logan Paul evil, that one would be easy to figure out. And then like I have a general idea of where like Mr. Beast would go on the morality tier list, and like a few other people that I follow closely, but there's like so many that I probably have no idea, and I would have to spend time getting to know who they were and like what causes they do it, and it's just not, I'm not feeling it. It'd probably make like a really good clickbait title on YouTube, and it would probably like gain a little bit of traction from people who were like YouTube pilled heavily, but I don't have all the time to put into this. Yeah, it would be a waste of time for anybody, but I do think that it would probably, especially if I thumbnailed it well, it could probably gain some traction on the Mr. Beast is the devil YouTube side of YouTube, and then like hopefully get a lot of hate from people who like bad people. I think I could go there with that. Moving on though, it's just too much work. So next we have the tier list of Defective custom wrestlers, a ranking of the wrestlers that we just made for the Defective Rumble, and there would be a lot going into that one. I think that I'm already going to be taking pictures of all of the wrestlers for a promotional image that I'm thinking about making for it. So like that part wouldn't be hard if I were to already do that. It will be hard if it wasn't already going to be done. I'm not sure exactly how I would rank them. Because I feel like there's like going to be a lot of like emotion with it, because like, do they get ranked? Is the difficulty that they were to make go into the ranking? Do I have bias over my friends versus the other people who signed up for it? And I don't know. It'll be hard to like remove myself from like the creation process and look at the final product. When I originally made the tier list, I thought that this was going to be a too much work. But if I make that promotional image, I'd say it's an awesome idea. And I think that it'll probably be the lowest on the list of awesome ideas, but I think that it's definitely doable. Political system and world governments. This is a tier list where I would rank the systems and politics of all the world's governments, from good to bad, and, you know, basically ranking countries on quality through my own metrics. And this is a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. You know, we had to have some bad ideas on here, so that's okay. It would be too divisive. It would get a lot of, definitely a lot of arguing, because, like, I know that I probably don't have the same views on some ways that government works compared to a lot of other people. And I piss some people off. I would piss some people off ranking world governments, that's for sure. I could do it really slowly and have that 8-hour to sleep to video that I've been dreaming of making. But I'm going to go with F tier awful idea. Dog shit idea, exactly. Anybody who had this idea should be ashamed of themselves. Okay, this one is related to like a little conversation, a side conversation we had recently. And it's a tier list of the teams of the Atlantic Coast Conference on whether or not they should be in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And, you know, the original teams of the Atlantic Coast Conference were all in states that had an Atlantic coast. And it just made sense. And now we have landlocked states and some, you know, and that makes less sense. And then we have Texas, and I guess there's the argument that this Gulf Coast is technically an Atlantic coast to some people, maybe, but it doesn't feel right. And then you got California, which is so far from the Atlantic coast that it has a Pacific coast. And I think we go through this pretty quickly and pretty solidly. And I think that it's an issue that money has ruined college sports and has just messed up the whole system. And I've just talked about everything during this that I would want to talk about during that tier list. And so I'm going to put it in brain rot, because it's not an awesome idea. It's very niche. It wouldn't be that much work, but my God, is it a waste of time because we wouldn't accomplish anything we haven't already done. All right, this one's going to be a little bit probably boring to y'all, but it's a subathon tier list. Where I'd rank notable subathons. This is an idea. Subathons have been a tool in streaming since the pandemic. Ludwig set the sub record with his that went for an entire month. Kaisa Nat has broken that record twice with his 2 Mafiathons. Iron Mouse became the most subbed female streamer with her subathon. But also people use subathons in a way that I think is wasteful. And so we would also look at like, I'm doing a subathon, but just for today. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like they're calling it a subathon, but they're not doing any of the work towards, like actually the marathon part is gone. It's just give me subs because I'm calling it a subathon. But I'm not actually, it's just really a regular stream. And I hate that. This guy posted, I follow this guy for like OBS and technology stuff. But huge news, I'll be doing my first ever subathon. Every 4 hours, we would take a quick 20-hour break to avoid burnout. Please subscribe. And that's like the general, that's the feeling that these other subathons get. Again, it would be super niche. It would be a very small sector of people who would be interested in it. And finding examples of the issue that I want to do would be too much work, but also how niche it is and how time consuming it would be feels like brain rot. I don't think that it won't matter at the end of the day. I don't think that we get anything from it that we aren't better off without doing it. Feet tier list. A feet tier list is an idea that I've had bouncing around for a little while now. It's pretty self-explanatory. I rank feet. I think that in this situation, chat would submit feet, and then I would look at those feet and rank them on the quality of foot. It wouldn't necessarily have to be all bare feet. It would just be like, oh my God, look at this foot in a high heel with 6 toes. How do you rank that? Does more toes make it better, or does more toes make it worse? I guess it depends on what you're doing with the toes. But this isn't just an excuse for me to get feet pictures. People don't have to submit their own feet. They can submit feet that they've found, or just maybe you have a bunch of feet pictures already that you want to see ranked, and then you could submit your folder of feet pictures to the foot tier list stream, and we'll rank those pictures together like a family. This is another one that's on the cusp. And God, originally I did this as a joke, but maybe it's brain rot. Depending on the participation from chat, it could potentially be too much work. But if everybody were to participate in it, I think it could possibly be an awesome idea, you know? I mean, like everything else that goes on stream, like with Defective Marketplace, there would be a filtering system, because I have to make sure that all of the pictures are stream friendly. And if there's something that's too much, like if it's too sexual or too gory, I'm not going to show it. But like there's that. Look, if you want to do the heavy listing for the candy tier list, I'd probably make an exception. It'd definitely be brain rot, but I still think it's an awful idea. And it'd just be an excuse to eat candy. We probably wouldn't even make a video out of it. We'd just eat candy and rank them. But yeah. Anyway, feet tier list, I think it's an awesome idea. I don't think it's as good as Big Bird or Fearlist. I think it's probably it probably get a little bit more traction in the creation process than the created wrestlers. Yeah, she's talking about feet pics. Deshi might have a fault. If we do the foot tier list, the feet pictures will go to Deshi. She'll organize a folder. She'll make the tier list essentially, and then I'll do the tier list. Next, we got a tier list of friend slot games. Friend swap games are there's really popular games lately, or basically multiple people. The whole joy of the game is that how we have proximity chat and we're making jokes and we're all playing together. A lot of extraction games, Repo, Lethal Company, Peak, Mimesis, Nemesis, however you pronounce it. Are we there yet? Would be friend swap. Anything where like the whole game revolves around the concept of a proximity chat of some sort. But yeah, we've played a lot of them here. We'll play a lot more. I love friend swap games, and this will be a tier list ranking those games. They get a lot of hate and love. It's like a very mixed on the internet concept. But I think overall, friend swap games are good. Lethal Company kind of started it, so like it would have like a special place, and then we'd figure out what the goat of friend swap games was, and then I think we've definitely experienced some that are not up to par. This is not as much work as the YouTuber one, but I do think it's probably too much work or brain rot. I don't know. I don't know if I can get anything. I don't know if I can get anything from it, because if I don't, super S rank Repo, everybody's gonna hate me. It feels like brain rot. It feels like top tier brain rot. I don't feel like I can really bring anything to it. It's just like a curiosity. I don't know if it probably shouldn't be a goal to achieve. Next, we've got the Ludwig's Hair tier list. This is gonna be weird. This is gonna seem weird to y'all. I'm a big Ludwig fan, and I kind of follow his lore a lot, and I enjoy a lot of the stuff he makes. Big fan of his podcast, The Yard. One of my dreams as a streamer is to be invited to one of his events, or win a bunch of money and trick him into letting me into one of his events. And I thought that this was a big thing with his community is his hair is like pretty exceptional, and then he changes it and people hate it. He went bald for stream. He went red for stream. This is his bald friend Slime, who got a hair system and they modeled the hair after his hair. So this would also be included. And then at various times, people in the yard have pretended to be him. And then we would rank that as part of Ludwig's hair too. And so yeah, he's gone bald. He's gone red. Other people have mimicked his hair. We throw some curveballs in there. And I thought it could be a fun idea. I'm not the first person to come up with a Ludwig hair tier list. One already exists. So like this would be really easy to do if I just went with theirs. I could just take their hair tier list and add my pictures into it. And we could do this. We can knock this out in 10 minutes. But again, I think it's probably niche. It's probably brain rot. I like that. It's probably brain rot. It would be really easy. It's not an awesome idea. It's a brain rot idea. You want me to do it right now? I don't want to get I'd have to organize my pictures. I'm not prepared to do that. We could do it right now. No, we're not going to do it. Tier list within a tier list. Okay. Y'all voted. It's brain rot. Next up, Discord drawings. As seen in this example, y'all would all submit drawings. And by you all, I mean like people in the community would submit drawings, and I would rank them blindly, not knowing who they were. A tier would probably be something along the lines of, I would hang this on my refrigerator. Like I would print this out and I would hang this on my refrigerator. I'm proud of whoever did this. And Allie, I'd probably have to censor your art because you draw too many penises. You're obsessed with them. I don't understand. But the downside is maybe the people who have the lowest ranked pictures get upset. They leave the Discord. They never watch stream again. They boycott me because they got their feelings hurt. And that would make me feel bad. So I am like pretty on the fence about that one. Because I think that it could be an awesome idea to get everybody involved. A lot of people don't like to participate in stuff. So that would turn it into being too much work. And then it would hurt my feelings. when people got upset at me or didn't participate at all. So that makes me want to drop it down to brain rot. But I'm going to go with probably too much work, just because if 5 people submit a drawing and nobody else does, then it's not going to be doable. Like it wouldn't. You have to have more. You have to have more items than you have tiers in your tier list, and it'd just be too much work until we have more people who would want to participate. But it's on the table. It's one of those things that, given time, it could shift from being too much work to an awesome idea. But right now, I just don't think we have the power to do it. We don't have the power to do it well. Next, we got crazy Zillow listings. It would work kind of like Defective Marketplace, where people would submit their crazy Zillow listings that they found. I got some examples right here of Cat House, Island House, House, and Mystical Forest House. And we would rank them based on how wild and crazy they are. Like, Cat House is pretty crazy because of how it looks, but I don't think it's as crazy as House on an island in a lake. Because how the hell do you even get to this house? You know? It's, this is crazier, even this one looks weirder. This is a crazier house. This is the craziest house here. You know, that's too much. It's too much housing. So we'd find those and we'd rank them. It's very similar. I think that it would be, the initial idea is based on participation, but I think it gets bumped up to an awesome idea because I could find the listings on my own and we could have a good time with it. So I'm going to bump this one up to the bottom of awesome idea in front of the WWE people. It's I think that one could be fun. And then we've got 2 more. And the next one is a planet tier list, ranking the planets in and out of our solar system. And this could break down into a bunch of different sub tier lists, because you could rank the planets on best to live on. Earth is definitely number 1, even though it sometimes sucks in that one. Or like distance from home, which, you know, it can get a little weird. How cool they are. Like, oh my god, I think Jupiter is really cool. But we can also rank it in actual coolness, which if Pluto makes the cut, Pluto's way cooler than Jupiter. And I also you also rank them by distance from the sun. There's a bunch of different options. Yeah, the current S tier list is Tierlist Tierlist to do it now. Planet tier list, the only thing holding it back is that it's too open-ended of an idea. And to do it justice, we'd have to make like 6 tier lists and rank the planets in all of the different ways. Yeah, in general coolness, Jupiter is cooler. But in actual coolness, Pluto is. Right? I could be wrong, but I feel like Jupiter has like an internal heat source or something. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but Jupiter was always the best planet when I was a kid. And I don't know if that is like a guy thing or not. But I just always was enamored with how cool I thought Jupiter was. There's no way that you're that big of a Pluto fan. We're talking about the little half planet, not the dog. It's got the coolest color scheme. It's got the big superstorm going on. It's the biggest. It's almost a star, which stars are cooler than planets. Yeah, Jupiter all day long. I'm going to bump it up because now I'm curious. All right, and my final idea for a tier list is just judge a book by a cover. We'll judge a book by a cover. Chat submits books that I've never seen that I will rank on how good I think the book is based solely on the cover. Well, you say the boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider, but in actuality, we go to Jupiter because it's the coolest planet that there is, and always will be. I hope. Anyway, judge book by cover. Yeah, y'all send me books. We put them on a tier list. I know nothing about the book. If you submit a book that I've read or I know anything about, it gets disqualified and doesn't get done. And then I make the rash decision on how good I think the book is based solely on the cover. And we got some examples. We got some examples going on, you know? Yeah. I think that this is a great idea. I think that, look, if I had unlimited time and things already set up, I'd do this right now. In fact, I think that I'm going to preemptively plan that this will be the next tier list that I do. Even though I've been waiting to do this Big Bird tier list for a long time, I think that the book tier list is a better idea. And I think judging a book by its cover could really be fun. And there we have it. This is the tier list tier list. So, you know, going off of me not having any more tier list ideas, this is the order we're going to do tier lists. We'll do the tier list right now. And that's just so much penis talk right now. We did the tier list right now. And then on deck, we got the judge a book by its cover tier list. I gotta figure out how to do it. But we'll actively work on that as our one of our next projects. And then after that, we'll do the Big Bird tier list, the Fear list, the Foot tier list, the Zillow listings tier list, and possibly the WWF Custom Superstars tier list. And then these three will be probably put on the back burner until I've got the time and energy and help to do it. And then, but we might do some of these brain rot ones, cause why not? And that's been my tier list. Thank you for sticking around and learning about tier lists.